Hello, this is the Fret Millen and SquishMitten podcast, or SquishMitten and Fret Millen podcast, whatever you want to call it. It is currently 6 o'clock p.m. on a Saturday, January 15th, and
In
this
the
is our
middle of
second
a
episode.
chilly New York.
Very chilly New York, extremely chilly, too chilly for me.
Too chilly to
Um,
be outside smoking cigarettes, I can
Way
tell you
too chilly.
that.
That's yeah. We were just literally doing that, and it was way too much. So this is our second episode, and we are going to we're gonna try to go on the subject of drugs, alcohol, and partying is gonna be our main
Yeah, just
subject.
a little bit of a experience that we had in our youth. So it should be a fun one because I think it's I think it's an experience that not many people get to have as their in their youth because we grew up having older brothers who were
And brought us into it kind of in a
yeah, who
way.
kind of parlayed us into the party lifestyle.
Yeah, and yeah. So yeah, we definitely want to. That's gonna be our main subject. Hopefully, we can have a nice, intriguing conversation and tell you about some experiences, maybe give a little advice or like I don't know, just tell you about what we were into. I thought that would be a great second episode conversation. It's simple and it's interesting, and I wish we were able to talk to people about this, but let's talk amongst each other. Let's get into this. Let's get into
Yeah,
this.
so I mean, what do you think? Where was the start of it all? What do you think
Oh,
was the main start of all this?
dude. Well, I feel maybe it's obvious, but I feel like marijuana was where I got into this whole debacle with drugs and
That
everything.
was definitely the first thing that I experimented with.
Yeah, so okay, tell me about your first experience. What was yours?
My first experience with weed was I would say I was probably in ninth grade. I was in ninth grade in high school, and my brother was already probably deeply into it before I was,
Yeah, I would.
and probably
Yeah,
wanted to be there
yeah.
while I did my first time.
Speaking
So
of, I don't mean to cut you off, but speaking of, so you remember we used to chill with Alicia, right? She was like our neighbor for your neighborhood friend when I would come over. So do you remember they used to go over to Alicia's house and like keep stuff secretive? They, I remember my brother used to be like, "Oh yeah, we were over Alicia's," but he would never give us specifics. I think they were smoking pot over there.
I remember us being better friends with Alicia
We
than
were,
they were.
we were, but I also think Alicia was smoking pot with them. You don't think
I
that?
no,
I always picked
I
up
didn't
on it.
get I didn't get that type of vibe from her, to be honest. But I mean, we did have a lot of fun over at their house because they had a fucking trampoline, they had
Yeah,
fucking
yeah. We
pool.
used to have a fucking kick on that
We used to
trampoline,
have a lot of fun over there.
dude. That trampoline, I do think about
But
trampolines a lot.
I don't think that was a big part in us smoking marijuana. So the first time I ever got into it was
Yeah,
behind
fully engrossed me right now. Put me in the time, place, and let me know all of the
the
aspects of.
first time I ever did it was I was in ninth grade in high school, and we did it behind our middle school because our middle school was within walking distance, but we had woods behind our houses, and we did it. I was there. It was me, my brother. I believe your brother was there, and
I was not. I
we were
don't think I
smoking
was
out of a
there.
fucking plastic, like a plastic Pepsi bottle with
Oh
like
yeah, we used
one
to
of
do
those
that.
makeshift fucking Pepsi bottles with aluminum foil over the
Yeah, that
fucking
used to
top
be
of
the
it.
go-to for us for a long time.
Oh no,
Uh,
it is that with a pen tube in it, and then the aluminum foil in the
yeah.
mouthpiece, and then a
Oh my
clear
God.
hole.
Yeah, that was like the
That was
go-to.
before we had fucking smoking pieces that we
Yeah.
could even buy from a store or anything
Oh
like
my
that.
God, that just reminded me. You remember the toy ball that I used to have? The 50
Yeah,
cent
that we made out of the
machine?
50-cent machine.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, we used to have a lot of weird
Dude, the toy
smoking.
bowl. I
Dude,
remember
the
the
toy
fucking
bowl was
toy bowl.
probably like one of my favorite fucking inventions that we had for the smoking.
I think we had that for a long time because anybody who says the word toy bowl that we
Yeah,
ever
like
hung out with would fucking
they
remember the
know
toy
what the
bowl.
toy bowl is. It was literally like the 50 cent, the 50 cent. I'm gonna fill in.
I just love the name toy bowl.
Yeah, like I'm gonna fill in the audience real quick on what that was. It was the 50 cent plastic little device that they used
It
to
looked like a
have.
fucking egg with a fucking cap at
Yeah,
the bottom.
which also we tried to make a firework
Yes, we did try to make a
with
firework
your
out of
dad's
it.
gunpowder. So yeah, it was one of those 50 cent machine toy things, and the toy was out of it, and I had wrapped aluminum foil and burned a hole in the bottom piece, and that was where we used to place the weed, and then a pen was sticking out of it. I don't know if people know what we're talking about, but that's
Oh no, everybody knows what a fucking 50-cent machine,
yeah, that was like
plastic container is.
the old school. That was like the early 2000s when you went to like one of those little turnstile. You drop the 50 cents and then turn the little knob, and you get a toy out of it.
But I don't know how early that was in our smoking days.
Because yeah, I don't.
The first few times we ever smoked was usually out of a fucking Pepsi bottle with some kind of aluminum foil at the top and a pen sticking out of it.
Yeah, it was.
But when we started doing it, probably more and more, that's when you actually started making started making the toy bowl. And that's probably when we used it more and more. Is when we were a little more ingrained into what smoking weed was.
Yeah, we started making weird devices. Also, it wasn't just the Pepsi cans that we were making bowls out of. We were making bowls out of just straight aluminum. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, we made straight aluminum foil pipes.
Straight aluminum foil pipes. It was just a fuck, nothing else but aluminum, and it had to be bad on the fucking.
It definitely had to have been bad for you because you never know what's on those.
Yeah, the rumor was that it would take years off, or it would like damage your sperm or some shit like that. Like
so many rumors about that.
Yeah, but we didn't know about that until after.
We made so many different types of smoking devices. We used to make a fucking gravity bong out of a fucking 2-gallon fucking 2-gallon, what was it, Hawaiian punch container.
And then the top, it was a Hawaiian punch, and then what was the top was like a milk carton or something. It was two separate things.
No, you would cut the Hawaiian thing in half, and then you would fill the bottom up with fucking water, and then the top would have aluminum foil.
But the top wouldn't be
you have to make a bowl that fit.
Yeah, you would screw it on
to the top.
You would screw it on, light the water. I'd assume a lot of people do know what a gravity bong is.
You push it into the water and then you pull it up.
Well, you can't have the Hawaiian top with a Hawaiian bottom because they wouldn't fit into each other. So you need a smaller top, right? Yeah, I thought we had like a soda bottle, a 2-liter soda bottle for the top, and then a Hawaiian.
I mean, we might have had a 2-liter soda bottle for the top, but it would be a Hawaiian punch bottle.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that shit fucked me up.
We kept that in the fucking closet for quite a long time.
Yes, and I smoked. My brother had like an ounce of sour diesel one day, and I found it. It was stinking up my room. It smelled so. It was so strong.
Dude, back in the day when weed was so good that you couldn't even keep it in your fucking room because it smelled so bad that anybody's parents would be able to smell
dude, my parents,
if it was in the house.
I literally woke up because me and my brother stayed in the same room. I woke up one morning to my parents trying to figure out where the smell of the sour diesel was coming from for so long. And I was pretending like I was still sleeping, but I heard them just like, what is that smell? Where is it coming from? We got to find it. And one day I found it. And then I smoked it out of the gravity bong that was kept in the closet, and it fucked me up. I think you should remember that story, right?
I remember smoking out of the gravity bong multiple times.
Do you remember the day it fucked me up, and I was so sick that I was like laying on your toilet in the downstairs section?
Yes, I do, because that was when I used to fucking play
SOCOM.
SOCOM.
You were playing SOCOM, dude.
SOCOM on the PS2, and I was just sitting in front of my stairs and be like, "Where's fucking Tony?" Tony would be laying on the floor in my fucking bathroom.
Dude, so yeah, that fucked me up so bad that I was laying on your couch. You were playing SOCOM, and it was so fucking loud. All I heard was
somehow. And somehow you went to my bathroom, walked in front of me, and I didn't even notice that you went there.
Yeah, because I was so sick that I felt like puking. I felt like I was on the top of those volume bars. It was every time you shot. It was, but like I was laying on your couch, my eyes were closed, and I visually had me on top of the sound bars, and it was just like bum 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 bum, and I kept on jumping up and down on those sound bars, and it made me so nauseous that I had to go puke, and I couldn't puke.
Dude, that was like the earliest fucking streaming setup I ever could have. I had a fucking chair with a fucking TV on, sitting on top of the chair.
Yeah, you had
and then my PlayStation plugged into the fucking back of it.
Yeah, it was very.
That was like very early streaming.
It was very
early. It wasn't even streaming. I was just playing online.
I don't even know why you were playing on that fucking TV over there, because you had a TV over near.
Because I didn't have wires long enough to reach, so because my internet cable was right there,
It was a
so I had to
very
plug it in next to my computer.
it was a very barbaric setup. It was very barbaric. You had a TV on top of a chair, which was like I now looking back on it, I'm like, why was that this setup? But we used to play like Ratchet and Clank and stuff on that, and we used to that used to be like the TV that we would play on.
Yeah, that was very early in our smoking days. But
Um,
you know, we would start smoking weed, and we did that for a long time. In ninth grade, it was kind of wasn't really an everyday thing. It was more like a weekend activity that we
yeah,
kind of did
because
because we were still very early to it.
yeah, for the most part, we were probably smoking pot at that time. We were probably in Elisha Killwood smoking pot.
Hmm.
Which is that was a long part of our friendship was Lyshiko Woods.
Yeah, and
Um
most of the time it was the older brothers trying to keep it a secret from the younger brothers. Like
yeah, yeah,
anytime that they were high, that
yeah.
they wouldn't tell us or
And that's where I
something.
was getting at with the Alicia thing. I think they were smoking pot with Alicia and they were trying to keep it very secretive until we got into
I
smoking
mean, I
pot.
don't think Alicia was a very
I think
big,
she
heavy
was
pot
though.
smoker
I
at
think
one
she
point.
was because I specifically remember one time my brother Nolan he he was saying that they were hanging out with Alicia, but they were very secretive about it.
I mean, they probably did at one point or another, but I don't think it was a
Oh,
big major
yeah, it
point.
didn't go on for that
It
long.
was probably one time that
It,
probably stuck out to you that
yeah, it
they
was.
did smoke
Yeah.
weed with her because I mean, she was in your grade, but she was 1 year
Yeah.
older than me.
Yes. Which, yeah, I'm 1 year old. I'm not 1 year older than you. I'm like 6 months older than you.
Yeah, barely 1 year.
But yeah, that brings me back to like the first time. I love this memory. I wanted to go on to like our favorite memories of smoking pot. I'm gonna tell mine real quick.
Go ahead.
So we started out smoking pot before anybody even had cars. We used to go to Electrical Woods all the time, and you remember all of that. It was fucking fantastic. And then eventually Nick Forster got the first car of the group, I believe.
Oh, Nick Forrest's first car, I definitely
Nick
remember.
Forster had the
Reliant K.
Reliant K,
It was
a
a
really
Plymouth, I think.
yes,
Was
it
the
was
brand.
very old car, old school car. We used to drive around and smoke pot in
I
that.
remember him specifically trying to buy the biggest piece of shit that he could fucking
And
find,
he got
and
it.
he really
He
fucking
got
found
it.
it.
He got it very well. Nailed it right on the fucking head. But so when Nick Forster got the Reliant, we used to. This is one of my first memories of smoking pot. Not even. It's not a first memory. It's just one of my favorite memories. We
Probably shouldn't
were.
say people's first and last names.
Yeah, I think about that often, but it's too late. You're called out, Nick Forster, and everybody else that we already said.
Nick Forrester's
Um,
a good man at this point.
Nick Forster.
He's a proud father,
Yes, I believe he's
probably.
married and has a kid now. I haven't seen him in forever. But so when Nick Forster first got his car, we used to go over to Price Chopper and smoke. I don't even think it was like very often, but I remember my one of my first memories of smoking pot was we were in that Reliant smoking, and Gianni was there. Everybody was there. I think everybody but Travis, because it used to be mainly me, you, Travis, Nick. No, me, you, Nick, Gianni, and Nolan. So we're all in the car smoking at Price Chopper, and I was like, dude, Gianni, this is our first time smoking together. Like we've never smoked together before. I've smoked before with other people, but never with you. And I'm like, this is like a memory. And he's like, yeah, dude, this is awesome. This is our first time smoking together. And so we're smoking, we're passing our whatever the fuck we were smoking. I think it was a blunt at the time, and we're smoking, we're smoking. And fucking all of a sudden it dawns on me that me, you, Gianni, and everybody else used to go to Lysico Woods all the time before that. And I'm like, Gianni, dude, we literally smoking Lysico Woods all the fucking time. Like, all the
It's
time.
the first time didn't really click until
It,
you're
it did,
actually
yeah.
super high with each other.
It didn't click until then. And Gianni's just like, yeah, we do smoke all the time like that. What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah,
But that's like my one of my favorite memories of early smoking.
I think one of my favorite memories is when, I mean, one of the ones that actually just sticks out to me is when Gianni had his old house on fucking, on probably a
Yes.
couple streets away
Yeah,
from
a
the
couple.
house that
It's
we're in
literally
now.
like a street over.
And just being in the basement of that house was very, I don't know, just the whole vibe of it
Oh
kind of
yeah.
just stuck with me. Just the feeling of probably just the most high I've ever been in my life because I smoked multiple times before that, but I probably wasn't as high as I've ever
Yeah.
been
It was
in the
just
basement of that
Yeah, it was
house.
just a good vibe in that. It was a great vibe in that basement. I'm not my
Could have
me
just been
myself.
how strong the fucking weed
Yeah,
was, or
maybe.
I just didn't know how to smoke. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, because Cloud at the time, he actually was the one that was in the place, and Gianni was his roommate,
Mhm.
and Cloud used to get marijuana because he had cancer at the time, and
I don't remember that.
unfortunately, Cloud passed years later.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was a great fucking guy, but
Holy shit! I had
he
no idea
passed.
that he did.
Yeah, he passed from
Wow.
cancer. Cancer eventually got to him.
Oh my god.
But yeah, we had that basement, dude. I remember that basement was just so fucking amazing because we had that '70s show kind of vibe for me at least. Because we were sitting on the milk crates around a table, we had a circle going, and we just sat down there for hours on end, just fucking smoking and having dumb conversations.
Yeah, I was definitely very very early in my days of smoking.
Yeah, that was yeah when Gianni first got into college, he was staying with Cloud, and
Yeah,
dude,
because when he was in college, I was in 10th grade because I remember I would be in school with Gianni for 1 year because high schools are 4 years.
yeah, and he
So
was
when
three
I
years
was in
older
ninth
than
grade,
you.
he was a senior, and same thing with you and your brother. But
Yeah.
you're 1 year older than me. But Nolan was held back a year, so he was kind of still in the same
Yup.
grade as Gianni.
So yeah, Nolan was like a year older than Gianni, but he was in the same grade. Which was I'm very glad that happened because I love my
I think he
friends.
kind of enjoyed
Yeah,
it because he was with his friends. If he
yeah,
was 1 year older, he would have been on a whole nother level and not hanging out
yeah.
with the people that
I
he grew up with.
We would be with totally completely different people, and I don't even know if I would still even have friends at the
I think
time.
it's weird that like the everybody that we hung out with had older brothers like the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
years
It
apart.
was two.
Even John and Alicia, they were 3 years apart. John was younger than us,
Yep.
but he was 3 years away from his sister,
Yeah. It was
which is
weird.
still
Yeah.
fucking. It blows my mind. Even Jacqueline and fucking Lindsay were
Really.
3 years fucking apart.
Now Lindsay was in. Wasn't Lindsay
Lindsay
in
was in
Nolan and
your
Gianni?
grade, but
Lindsay
Lindsay,
wasn't in my grade. I think Lindsay was a year ahead of me, and then Gianni and Nolan were 2 years ahead of me, and then you were
but I
one
know
year
Lindsay
behind
was
me.
either 1 or 2 years
She
younger.
was in the odd group because she did not have any friends that we ever.
I thought she was in your and
No,
Alicia's
no,
grade.
no, no. Alicia and her were really good friends, but Lindsay was like a year ahead of me,
Oh, okay.
and then she was
I
right
know
in that.
Jacqueline was 1 year younger than I
Yeah.
was.
So Lindsay was right
So
in that gap between me and our brothers. So she was in that weird group that we never even made friends with those groups of people.
yeah, which was basically your year of fucking high school,
Yeah,
but you
my
weren't really in
well, oh
because
yeah, yeah, yeah. My year. So I was like a year behind Lindsay, and I never hung out with people in my
yeah,
grade.
I
I
mean
hung out with people in
I
your
hung out with
grade.
more people in the fucking senior group than I
Yeah,
did in my own grade.
and I think I hung out with more people in your grade than I did in my grade. Which was it was a very weird concept of how
Oh shit.
it's just weird how life pans out because what the I don't know the cookie cutting what everything's supposed to plan out to be, it doesn't happen that way,
Yeah, I mean
and then you feel
it's just
like you're
more
in a
with whoever you're
weird
fucking vibing with.
yeah, you
Like
feel like you're in a weird
you
spot, but
vibed
really
with the
it's
people that
just
were in my age
yeah
group than with the people that were in your age group.
um which was
And
very
fuck
weird.
them. They weren't fun people anyway because the fun group were the people that were in my age, and then the
Yeah,
fun people were the seniors
I
in high school
remember,
and the
dude.
ninth
I
graders.
feel like your grade carried high school.
It really did. That was like the last fun year of fucking like people hanging out because the ninth graders, because I had a brother who was a senior, and then you had a brother who was a senior,
Yeah.
and those age those age groups kind of merged together
Yeah.
because they were fun. And like Dalton and Justin,
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
was
like
he
they
was
were
a ninth
great.
grader, and then his brother was a senior.
So
So
yeah,
they kind of just merged together. So like
so
that
Justin
was
was with our brothers.
that was the funnest year of fucking high school that anybody could ever have because the younger
I
brothers
really don't
had
think
older brothers who were seniors, and then they all just merged together.
Yeah, because everybody was clowns in your grade. Everybody, and it was the greatest fucking. Nobody.
They were just clowns because they were so young, but they knew all the older kids.
Exactly.
So they were just into
so
the
it was
whole
like
partying.
it was like those two specific. So it was if you were in ninth grade, I was in 10th grade. There was a blank in the 11th grade, which would be Lindsay's year, which we didn't really hang out with Lindsay. So there was a blank in 11th grade, and then it was our brothers, Nolan and Gianni, and Nick Forster were in 12th grade. So like the 12th grade and 12th grade and 9th grade were merged together because everybody was brothers with somebody,
they
or
knew each other because they had a brother or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, and Dalton was a big. I feel like Dalton was a very popular kid at the time.
Yeah,
and then
was.
We were friends with Dalton, and then they knew our brothers, and then Dalton had Justin, which was with our brothers. So those two, it was definitely the most fun year.
It's probably as fun as high school could fucking get is when you're friends with the 9th graders and you're friends with the 12th graders at the same time, and then you have a fucking older brother who's about to get ready to go to a fucking Ivy League college.
Yep.
And then he gets his own house.
Yeah, so
and then you can start having your own fucking parties.
So then we're still in high school, and Gianni's throwing these fucking complete fucking bangers, amazing fucking parties. All of Colony.
We're in fucking 10th grade, and he's in his first year of college. He's got his own fucking house.
Yeah, it was just like the perfect setup for high school students. So Gianni didn't have anything like that going into college, but he managed to fucking turn that into something.
No, he was a big pioneer about it.
He was a huge pioneer.
He was so smart that he knew how to facilitate all that type of fucking popularity.
If it wasn't for Gianni, we would have never had our party.
If it wasn't for Gianni, we wouldn't have any of the stuff that we have.
The place that we're in right now,
I wouldn't have any of the stuff that I have.
The place that we're in right now, we used to throw extreme fucking parties in. Extreme, and all of the high school students that we were friends with used to come to these parties, and it was just like every single weekend we would have these complete fucking blowouts. And
we would have theme parties, Halloween parties, blacklight parties.
Yep. I remember the highlighter party where we just fucking had highlighter everywhere with the black light.
I still have fucking marks on my roof and a fucking hook in the fucking
Yes,
roof.
the hooks for the black lights.
Black light used to
hang. Oh my! And it was just completely fucking phenomenal. It is the greatest time to be alive. And I feel like if
the 90s and the early 2000s were always
great time. The early 2000s was where it was.
The time that everybody wants to go back to.
And a lot of people didn't have that because unfortunately we had it, but a lot of people were going to like. A lot of people were going to like woods parties and.
Oh yeah, I do remember the fucking woods parties that I've never really went to one, but the only one that we ever did go to.
The cops busted.
The cops showed up.
I remember you.
And I had drugs on me, and I ended up just booking it out of the fucking woods. But the rest of the people had to stay there and like clean up the fucking party.
I was one of those people. So yeah, I remember we showed up with Rich and his girlfriend, which was Alyssa at the time, and we showed up to this random woods party, and we showed up. It was literally like 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes, and then everybody's like, "Oh shit, the cops coming!" And I'm like, "There's no fucking cops." So everybody took off. I'm like sitting there thinking like, "Oh, these fucking idiots are fucking."
Well, I took off because I'm pretty sure I had ecstasy pills on me, so I took off.
Yeah, so you took off. Rich and Alyssa took off with you. Half of the people in the woods that I didn't know took off with you. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, these fucking idiots just ran into the dark woods for no fucking reason. And there's no cops coming in. And then like 2 minutes later, the cops show up and they're like, what the fuck's going on here? And I'm just like...
Probably the first time a woods party has ever got fucking busted by the cops is when we fucking actually show up.
Yeah, because there was plenty of... I remember there used to be a spot...
I used to hear stories about the fucking woods party.
There used to be a spot for woods parties in Lishkill Woods because they used to have the pit.
Yep.
which we never attended, but we used to always go there and
Now, I
smoke
never
pot.
actually went to a party there, but we would just go there just to
Yeah, I
hang
would
out.
assume there was parties that went on there.
Oh, there definitely
It was
had
a
to have been.
huge fucking pit that it looked like somebody dug up. It was unnatural.
That was definitely an unnatural pit.
Yeah, like they would have fires there. I could only imagine that it was a huge fucking party that they were having in the woods, but we never went to one.
Yeah.
It was probably years before
Those
us
were
that
definitely
that showed
the
up.
older kids above
Yeah,
us, the grades
it was probably
before
yeah.
us,
So
and before our older
yeah,
brothers.
our middle school had woods, a woods patch that was off of the baseball and football field, and into the woods. If you walked in for probably like 2 minutes, there was a
Not even, dude. It was a 30-second
yeah.
walk.
It was like you walked across a wooden bridge, and then you
It was
walk in.
basically part of the fucking middle school.
Yeah,
Like if you
yeah,
just walked over the bridge, you were
yeah.
basically at the fucking pit.
Which a lot of people probably never even experienced those woods. I think about this a lot
That's
because
what I think. Most people didn't actually have like a place to go where it was like kind of
yeah,
secluded to be able to do the types of random
yeah,
shit that you wanted to do.
like it,
I guarantee people had fucking sex back there in those fucking woods.
yeah, probably. I remember who was that? Jimmy Carr? Jimmy Care?
Jim Carrey? He was
Was it the
probably
who
be
was the
saying
younger
names of
who
people,
was the
but
younger one?
Greg.
Greg. You remember we found porno in those woods and we tried to
Oh, we definitely found porno in those woods. Like that's one of the things that most young kids are hoping to ever happen is to find porn
yeah,
in the
just
fucking random woods
a random
and then
magazine
leave
of
it in a
porn.
fucking tree so you can
Yeah,
come back and find it later.
So we ended up finding somebody else's porn stash, and then we tried to sell it to Greg Care. He was so much younger than us. He was probably like 2 years younger than us at the time, which seemed like an extreme amount of
I
young.
remember selling porn VHSs to some kid in my fucking grade.
Really, I didn't know
That was
anything
when I
about
was in
that.
band class, and I literally remember passing him a VHS while I was in band class.
So you
from
started
my
off-
backpack into his backpack. I'm like, here you go.
So
And
you
he would
started-
pay me like $20 or something.
You started off your dealing young. You started off your dealing with porno. Is that
I guess that was one of my first deals ever.
You were a porno dealer to start off your drug dealing.
Yeah, I guess that was the first time.
I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know that about you. That's funny.
I'm just a natural born salesman, I guess.
No, that's very interesting. So, after we started having parties here, which had alcohol, which I was heavy into alcohol when we had parties, and then it also had drugs.
Yes, once my brother was in college, and he kind of started getting a lot of connections to other different types of people who were into certain things, and then at one point I
Cocaine.
was able, yeah, they would experiment with certain things that most people weren't able to acquire, but while I was in high school, I was able to meet a connect through one of my friends, and I was starting to sell ecstasy pills. So that was probably the next phase into our party lifestyle while I was in high school still, and my
Yeah.
brother was in college.
I think those
And
drugs
had his
didn't
own
start
house.
coming in heavy until Gianni moved until he moved here.
Yeah, once he had his own personal house, and then that's when
Then drugs started getting.
that's when the experimentation really started heavy.
Yeah.
And
Which
it
which
started
you
it started with ecstasy was really the first type of experimentation.
yeah. So that's with you. You had a whole ecstasy period in your life.
I had a very reliable connect that I had to travel to hours away, and would be able to pick up large amounts of fucking ecstasy pills, which I did on numerous occasions. And
What was one of your most exciting things about ecstasy? Because I
Oh
wasn't
my God.
much. I probably did ecstasy 3 times, and I didn't really have a big thing with that. But what was one of you? Because you were in it for a long time.
I would call it like a phase within my age group when I was in high school, because like 11th and 12th grade is probably when it was big, and I would just be able to acquire large amounts of them, and my age group would hit me up for them all the time. So I was selling a lot of these pills, and
You were selling. You were like probably the go-to guy.
yeah, it
for-
was me, and occasionally there was one other person who would be able to get some ecstasy pills. Mike Kiersing which
Oh,
I probably
yeah.
shouldn't be saying names.
Yeah, no name dropping on. It's too late, but no name dropping on. When we're into those subjects, yeah, no name dropping. But yeah, Mike Kirsten was a really
I
good guy.
mean, this is 10 plus years ago, so all these people are
Yeah.
all very
I know.
established
I
and
know.
very
He's
out of
yeah.
this lifestyle
He's
now.
into construction now. I see. He actually friended me on, I think, Facebook, because one
He
time
was
I
one of the
saw him.
people who I actually enjoyed talking to because we were kind of on the same type of level
Yeah.
and we were in the same type of business if you want to call it
Yeah.
that. But I mean,
Sketchy shit.
we had our fun times with it, and ecstasy was a very popular drug in that time period. So we did that a lot, and we experimented with it a lot. And the parties that we would have at this house were sort of a big part of it too.
So let me ask you this: were you doing like ecstasy and stuff when you were going to these parties?
Yeah, when
I
we were
dude, what?
anytime that we had a party at this house, you could guarantee that there was fucking ecstasy involved.
I didn't know this at all. I was too busy getting drunk and puking.
Well, alcohol was kind of the subsidiary
It wasn't for me. It was the
next to it.
primary.
That was the
It
primary
was the
for
primary for me.
most people.
Yeah, because I know there was like the majority of people that showed up probably didn't even know this was going on, because people would go. I remember this specifically. People would go into the rooms and lock the door, and
Exactly.
that's probably
That's
what's
how
going
you
on.
know that there was some shit going
So
on.
I was
When
out
people
here,
would go into a
yeah,
room and shut the door.
yeah, and shut the door, and you wouldn't know what was going on back there. For the longest time, I didn't know that until one day I was introduced into one of these rooms, and I think I was doing coke in one of that's the first time. But before that, it was just alcohol and weed for me. And I would get to the point, I'm not good with alcohol and weed. I would get to the point where I would get the spins and then puke, and then
Oh
it
my
would be a
god, I
night for me.
cannot stand the spins. The spins is what happens when I get
Yeah,
too drunk
you
and then
know,
end up smoking weed when I'm too drunk, and then
yeah,
and
and
then
then
you
you're done.
fucking
You're
get
done.
you're
But if I
done.
had
I
ecstasy in
literally
my
had the spins
system,
the other fucking night,
that's
like last
horrible.
night. I think
That
I
sucks.
took one hit of weed and I was like, this isn't gonna fuck me up. I had fucking three of these fucking. I had two of these
Yeah,
nine
that's way,
percenters.
way too much.
No, I had one 9%er and then two of these 6.7%ers. And then I took one hit of weed and I was just fucking spinning. I was
That's
just
where
like, I don't even like this.
most of the parties, that's where I was. I was having the spins at the end, not even the end of it, probably mid of it. And
Just too early into the
yeah,
night.
I would be the guy on the couch. I would chug. I was like, I would chug liquor and fucking alcohol and beer.
Dude, we used to use the beer bong all the
Yeah,
time. That
I
fucking
yep,
funnel. That thing was a fucking killer.
yep. The funnel shotguns.
Once that got introduced, then
Yeah,
any type of beer would fuck you
yeah.
up.
You're just fucking funneling beers left and right, and then you would fucking have some shots and smoke some weed, and that's where I was. I was the couch guy. Most parties, I feel like, or I was puking, and then I was the couch guy. I think if ecstasy and cocaine was introduced to me at that time, I would have probably handled myself a little better.
I can't tell you the first time I actually tried coke, but eventually it got to be a regular thing into the party lifestyle that we were fucking living.
Yeah,
I don't remember if it was probably when I was a senior in high school is when I actually got introduced to
tried
that type of
coke.
stuff. But anything after ecstasy was probably like 10th or 11th grade.
Yeah,
But anything after that was then it started getting harder and harder. But ecstasy was kind of like the first hard drug that I ever kind of experimented with. But I was mostly in it for the money. I really wasn't doing a
yeah.
lot of it
Like
for
we
myself
talked about last episode,
because
you were a responsible drug dealer.
I was a very responsible drug dealer. If I wasn't making money on it, I wouldn't have been doing it at all. So I was making
Um,
money on it, but I had my times where I would do it, and it wouldn't cost me anything because I was still making money.
yeah, which is a plus plus. That's nothing but benefits there.
Yeah, but there's also a big risk of when you have massive amounts of fucking drugs on you, you're taking a big risk by
Yeah.
getting
Okay.
caught
Yeah.
by
So
getting caught by the cops and stuff
yeah,
like
let's
that.
get into that. What was I want to talk about as a drug dealer? Like I've been with you on a couple of drug deals, and it always went smoothly from my point of view. Let's talk
I
about
think I
one of your
was
sketchiest.
I think I was fairly lucky as a drug dealer,
Yeah.
if you would say.
So you
But
haven't had many
like
run-ins with the cops, or
I didn't have many run-ins. Actually, I had a lot of run-ins with the cops, but I at
You
when
think they knew?
oh yeah, because there were people out there who have been caught and then probably snitched on me, told me that I was the one who was supplying them with that
Yeah.
shit. So anytime the cops saw me in my town, they would pull me over and try to fucking search my car for stuff. But I had a fucking stash spot in my car, and
I remember.
they would
Yeah.
never find anything on me. So I would be bad mouthing the fucking cops while they were searching my car.
That's so
I got
bad.
pulled over once with Travis, and these cops were searching my car, and I literally had drugs on me, but it was in my fucking stash spot, and I was yelling at the cops saying, "You guys fucking pull me over every time you fucking see me, but you never find anything on me, and you guys are a bunch of fucking assholes just hassling me anytime you fucking see a fucking young kid driving a fucking Mercedes."
Yeah, because you
So
had the '98 Mercedes
with the fucking
Benz,
chrome wheels on it and the
which was
tinted windows, and
I
which
love
I
that
mean,
car.
and fucking, it's not a good look for any young kid,
It's a beautiful
to
car.
be honest.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's
But
not. It's
the
like,
cops,
yeah,
they knew what I was doing because there were kids who have actually snitched on me for getting
you know that
busted.
for sure.
Oh yeah, because you remember your fucking cousin Khalil,
Yeah.
who sat in the back of a fucking cop car and saw my name on one of their fucking cop
No
computers,
shit.
saying that my name was a good search for fucking drugs.
Wow. Speaking of that, shout out to Kylo. Kylo is one of the best cousins out there.
He was a good
Dude,
man. I
I
remember
don't.
Khalil, and I loved
Bringing
him.
that up. So, Kylo was my cousin. Well, he still is my cousin. But so when I was born in Albany. You live in Colony. So I saw Khalil a lot when I was very young, like before even meeting you guys. So then when I moved to Colony, I kind of in ties with most of my cousins, Khalil being one of them. And then one day I hopped in Gianni's car and Khalil was there, and that was the most mind blowing fuck. I was like, what the?
Getting into a car and seeing your
Yeah,
cousin that you
like,
never really talked to
like
much,
I haven't
and
seen
you're like,
you.
"Why are you hanging out with my
Yeah,
friends?"
I haven't seen you in fucking 15 years. What are you doing in my friend's car? And I never got to talk to anybody about that, but I feel like Kylo immediately was like because me and Kylo like clicked.
Well, obviously
We're
he
great.
met Gianni,
Yeah,
probably met
like
Gianni
I love
through
Kylo.
Nolan.
I love Kylo. I know Kylo is feels the same about me, but mentally, I think we both had this connection of like,
Oh yeah, when
yeah,
you're family,
like
that connection is just
he
automatically
was
there.
kind of, yeah, he's kind of like, I'm right here, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? And
He's
like,
like, "What's up, fam?"
yeah, exactly. There was no like verbal connection. There was no
It's just
verbal.
like, okay, I know
Yeah,
you,
it was
you
just
know
like boom,
me.
like like I know this is a weird situation. I'm here, and I'm like, this is my friends that I hang out with every day. What are you doing here? And there's no verbal. It was just like all mental. But after
Well,
that,
that's a comforting thing,
yeah,
I think.
after seeing
After the first
Khalil,
initial,
yeah, after seeing Khalil after that, it was just like every day was just like we hung out for a long time after that, and it was
yeah, and eventually Khalil ended up living in this apartment with
yeah,
us for quite some
which
time.
is still now that I think about it, that's fucking mind blowing because what the fuck are you doing knowing my Albany connections? You know? Like
Yeah,
why?
it's weird. It's weird
How did
how
you meet
word gets spread
Khalil?
around.
How
I
did
honestly don't remember the first time I met Khalil. I could not tell you the first time I met Khalil,
Khalil's the most fucking
but
sweetheartest
he is the
fucking.
nicest fucking kid. One of the nicest kids you're ever gonna fucking meet. Because as soon as I met
And
him,
it's
I
weird because he's
started
like a
hanging out with him
football
every
player.
day.
He's a big fucking guy.
Yeah, he's
And
definitely
he
bigger
could
than
tell
me.
somebody to shut the fuck up if he wanted to and like pulverize somebody. But he's the sweetest fucking guy.
Yeah, I ended up. I mean, even when I was still in high school, I would come to his house after school.
Khalil's?
Yeah,
Oh,
back when they lived on fucking back on Central
you
Ave
met
near
Khalil
the
in
fucking
high
high
school?
school. Oh yeah, I knew Khalil in high
What the
school.
fuck?
I probably met him when I was probably in 12th grade, and then when I went off to college was probably when we started hanging out like very heavy.
Oh shit. That's
Because like I would
crazy.
go to my college classes, and then I would come back to Colony and hang out with fucking Khalil because I would pass his house on my way to my house.
Khalil was dude, I miss Khalil. He's in one of the Carolinas right now. He moved.
Yeah, he moved away, did his own thing.
Dude, but
So
just such a gentle fucking. I don't want to say a gentle giant because he's not like a giant, but
he's a big kid.
he's a
Like
big kid.
he's tall. He's definitely taller than me, and you know,
I love Kalo. Shout out to Kalo. it was a great period when he started hanging
It
out
was a
with
good
us.
time.
Yeah.
He was definitely at the parties that we used to have. Probably the later parties that we used to
Yeah.
have.
I don't know if it's just like my family kind of thing, but I feel like a lot of us are like very gentle people, and
Well, yeah, I mean, not everybody's a hard ass and it
no,
wants
I
ill
mean
will towards everybody. So
your family though,
I mean,
you're,
we don't really want problems, but if there is problems, then
but then
we're
again,
gonna act up
yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
like Gianni was a hard ass. Gianni was all about tough love. But your family, your father comes from what,
He
Brooklyn?
comes from Brooklyn, yeah.
Brooklyn, so that's
He's a
a
very
yeah,
and
that's
not
like
gonna lie,
a
his fucking family has ties back to the fucking Italian mob back in New York, back in like the
yeah, like
fucking
you can't,
50s and
but you
60s and
can't
shit
have
like
shit
that.
in like an area that big and that hard. Like the New York is
I
just a
think
hard
that's
place to
probably why
live.
he moved out of the fucking city
Yeah,
was just to get away from
eventually
all that.
it's got to get
He
sickening after
honestly
a
he
while.
my dad would my dad says it all the time. Like he had the opportunity to become a fucking mob boss, but he ended up getting out of the fucking city and getting away from that
Yeah. No,
lifestyle.
your dad's fucking awesome. I love your dad.
I mean, anybody who saw
He's secretly like one of my idols. What do you call like the older people that you like look up to?
I, an
I
idol. I mean,
whatever.
I don't know
Yeah,
what else to call him.
I probably never told you about that, but like I secretly look up to him.
But
Like
dude,
he's
I mean,
fucking awesome.
I work with my dad. Like you should hear the way that he does business. Like
Is he loud
he's
and loud and
still
demanding?
yells at people. Still has like a very demanding
I would
type of voice.
imagine.
So like
Yeah.
anytime he gets on the phone with somebody, he can literally get him to do anything that he wants to do. Like if he needs a fucking price, I mean, he works in construction, so. And if he needs a fucking price from somebody, or if he needs somebody to do something for him, he has a way of saying it with such a stern tone
Yeah.
that will make
But
them
he
just
does
say,
it just right. It's like
yeah,
a
he
art.
makes
It's
it
like a
like
art.
he says it in such a way that is very stern but very friendly at the same time. So at the end of the conversation, like he's it's not a hateful conversation that we
Yeah.
just had.
It's
It's just
yeah.
like,
They're
hey,
like
I need you to do this for me, and if you can do it, that's great.
yeah.
And if not, just
They're
let me fucking
like
know.
okay, I
But
understand. I
but
understand. I
99%
got
of
you.
the time, they say yes to anything that he has to ask him because I'm still learning. And I have to learn from him the way that he talks
Yeah.
to people because
Good luck on that.
I need to ask these people for certain things. And like I feel like I'm too nice about it.
Yeah.
But my dad has a way of just saying it in a
It's
stern tone and like he has a very thick New York accent.
yeah.
So it's like
Yeah,
you can
very.
tell he sounds like he's from the
He
fucking
sounds like
mob.
he's from Brooklyn. Like he
Exactly.
sounds
He
like when he
has
says
that New
Brooklyn,
York
he says,
accent.
I'm from Brooklyn.
Yo,
I'm from Brooklyn."
we have these meetings every week and like there's just these jobs that we go through that we're tracking and the way he says theater, like you talk like there's
It's
a
yeah,
job
like
called the
theater.
Pendragon Theater.
I gotta go to the theater.
Yeah, he's like the way he says that fucking word is just like it's the thickest New York fucking
I'd
accent
imagine
you can
he's
ever fucking hear. He's like Pendragon Theater, and I'm just like, you know how to say ERs? It's weird.
It's weird because he's been up here for so long and he still has that fucking
No, he's
that
still got that
that.
thick accent. I
I'd
even told
imagine
my
he sounds a
dad.
lot like because I don't talk to you. I don't want to talk to your dad a lot,
I
but I
even
imagine he sounds like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, he
Hey, this
definitely
Mark
has
Wahlberg.
that very thick accent, but it's kind of more intimidating than Mark
Yeah,
Wahlberg because
it's like a series. Yeah,
it's deeper and it's fucking more
it's
serious.
not like I'm acting like a fucking hard ass right now. It's like
Yeah, it's like I
I'm a
really
fucking
am a
hot
fucking
ass.
hard
Let's
ass.
fucking talk right now.
He's
Let's
really
go to
got
the
that thick
theater.
accent. He's really got that thick accent, and it's intimidating when he's talking to you.
Dude. Every time I see your dad, every time I'm in close proximity to your dad, I tense up
Dude,
because
even when Dalton saw my dad, like he just saw me talking to my dad at one point. He was like, "Yo, your dad is definitely in the mob." Like he never even spoke a word to my dad. He just heard my dad
Dude,
talk.
he
He was
has
like, "You are in the fucking
yeah,
mob."
like he has he's just the essence of the right parts of the mafia. Like he has the essence
Well,
of
I mean,
doing it correctly.
his family literally has ties to the Italian mob. So I mean,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
your dad's a very intimidating guy. I love him, but I
mean,
don't want to be anywhere near
that's
him.
partially why he does his job so well.
You say that you go out to dinners with your dad often now that you're closer
absolutely.
to him.
We go out to 2 or 3 times a week.
I want to put myself out there and be like, hey, can I come out to one of the dinners? But I don't want to be there with your dad, to be honest. I think I had to be extremely shit faced in order to talk to your dad.
I mean, you gotta
Actually,
be on some kind of level to actually connect with
yeah,
the guy.
let's set that up. I'll come out to dinner with your dad sometime.
Dude,
With you and your dad.
we go to the Rusty Nail, fucking
Where's the Rusty Nail?
Clifton Park.
Yeah, yeah. So after work, what day usually?
I mean, we usually go on like the weekends because he'll come down to like Schenectady, go to his fucking bakery, and
Because he's up in Saratoga
get
or
like
Clifton
no,
Park.
he lives in Glens Falls, so he drives an hour down to Schenectady just to go to his favorite bakery, just to get like his loaves of bread and
Can we give
get
a
like
shot? What
his
is that
Italian
bakery?
fucking foods. I don't remember, but
Okay,
I mean
yeah.
Roma is one of them. Fucking fuck, it's like right on the tip of my tongue. It's like Perella's or something like that. I don't fucking remember, but he's got his Italian places that serve only authentic fucking shit that's imported from Italy. So he goes to those usually on the weekends, and that's when we'll go to the fucking Rusty Nail and get some fucking
So
chicken
the
wings.
Rusty Nail is in where?
That's in Clifton Park.
Clifton Park. So what
They
is that?
have
Like a Saturday that
they
you do
have
this?
awards for known for their best chicken wings in the area.
Oh, I love
They have won award. They have won awards for their chicken wings. They are the best, literally the best chicken wings I've ever fucking eaten. In
Rusty
my life.
Nail is in Saratoga.
No, Clifton Park.
Clifton Park.
And I will never order chicken wings from another fucking place. I used to order chicken wings from the pizza place right down here, fucking whatever
Oh,
this
that
fucking
little hole in the wall place.
not Paisans, fucking.
No, Paisan's.
I honestly don't even remember
Paisan's
the
is
name.
amazing. Don't shit on Paisan's.
I don't even remember the name because it's
the
been
one
so
right
long
next to
ago.
the corner store.
Yeah, right over there.
With
Amonte, that's it.
What's that dude's name?
Shardik.
Shardik Snack. Shout out to Shardik.
Who owns the fucking corner store, which
Yeah.
is
Him and his brother.
We lived at that fucking
Yeah,
corner store
we
when we were
really
in college.
did. He used to call us airheads because every time we went in there, we got airheads.
Got airheads, dude. I used to buy fucking I literally used to buy fucking groceries from there. I used to buy fucking boxes of cereal, fucking toilet paper, everything. They had fucking the most random stuff at that fucking corner store, but it's a true corner store.
So when are we setting up this date?
Most people would call it a bodega in fucking New York.
Yeah. If it was New York, it would be a bodega. He's a bodega guy.
This is a bodega in upstate New York.
Yeah, Troy, New York. He's got a nice little shop going on the corner of 15th Street. That's just his location. Shardik's a great guy. I hope he's doing great in business. I haven't seen him in a
he
long
definitely
time.
is doing good. So I mean, I still see him standing in front of the door sometimes whenever I drive past.
So Saturday we could go have a dinner date with your father.
I mean, whenever he because
just text me next time. I'll be there.
Yeah, because
is it a Friday?
No, it's usually a Saturday.
A Saturday?
It's usually a Saturday because he comes down, he gets his hair cut in Schenectady, so he goes to the same person he's been fucking going to for fucking like 20 years. Still getting his haircut from the same
guy
person.
that knows how to do mafia,
like a regular Italian.
Hey, how's it going? You want a haircut?
Only goes to certain fucking people. He won't go to anybody else to get his fucking haircut. So he still travels to fucking Schenectady when he lives fucking an hour away.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it is hard to find a good barber because I noticed when I cut my hair myself. I cut my hair yesterday. It looks. Now that I'm looking at it on camera,
doing a buzz cut is why
you never told me that I look like shit like this. You just let me do it.
I don't think you do. I mean, it doesn't look like you did a bad job. It doesn't look uneven or anything like that.
I mean, but I feel like it's a little too much. When I look in the mirror after I cut myself, I'm like, damn, I look sexy.
I
really do feel sexy sometimes.
It's possible to fuck up a buzz cut, but it doesn't.
It is. I could have patches and shit.
It doesn't look uneven to me. So I mean,
it's just my head shape. Maybe my head shape. I would
tell you if it looked bad, but
you don't think
it looks even.
Do I look like
it looks even.
I could be in an action movie? That's what I'm always going for.
If that's what you're going for,
I want to be like the next Jason Statham.
You've already been in the background of a very popular movie.
I have been an extra. I've been an extra one time.
What is it? The New Guys?
The New Guys, yeah.
It's a very popular movie.
I'm not even in.
Great.
I'm not even in the video. You can't even see me.
Oh, really? You can't?
Yeah, you can't.
I thought there was a moment where you can actually see you running or something.
No, I was running in the clip. There was actually three parts that I was in. One of them was on a street very distinctly. I know the scene in the movie, but you can't. either they cut me out on purpose.
I don't think it was you personally.
I don't know. Maybe they were like, "Fuck that
probably
guy."
just the scene itself. I don't think they cut you out because you were in it.
Fuck that guy. Let's cut him out.
Like, we don't like this kid. Let's get him out of there.
Dude, I'm like, now that we're talking about your dad, like, I'm huge on the fucking New York accent now. Like, I just want to have that accent. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Dude, it's
hey,
so it's very.
Hey,
it's
I'm
so
walking
thick.
here.
It literally is exactly like that. So like, because like anytime I try and call somebody on the fucking phone while I'm at my job and like trying just to get anybody on the phone, I usually can't get them on the phone. But as soon as my dad tries to call somebody, they pick up like fucking that,
but
and then he gets them on the phone and gets them to do exactly what the fuck he
right
wants
away.
them to do. I'm just
after
like,
you spent an hour.
Dude, I just tried to call this guy for 3 days in a fucking row, and the first time you call him, he fucking picks up the
He
fucking
just gets
phone.
on the phone like, "Hey, you listen here. I'm gonna fucking you do
He's
this.
like, this is what I need. I need this from you, and I need you to do it like this, and I need it like that, and that's how it gets done."
No, dude, your dad's also got a very deep voice. It's like a bear. Like your dad's got a fucking bear of a fucking.
It's a very deep voice, so
and he's
it's
not
very
a big
noticeable.
guy. He's a big guy in the aspect that he works out, but his stature's not very
For
big.
an old guy, I'm gonna tell you, my dad is like 60 something. He's in his 60s.
He's probably fucking bench pressing
and
like
he's
400.
fucking ripped. I saw him walk out of his house with no shirt on, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, you're fucking 60 something. You got fucking pecs and a 6-pack.
Where's the genetics?
You're fucking crazy right now. Like, how do you maintain this? And like, he just doesn't eat. Like
that's what I do.
He snacks on fucking like peanuts all day.
Yeah,
and then he'll eat like. He'll order a fucking meal from like these places that we go to out to dinner, and they'll eat like half of it.
Yeah, and then save the rest for later. I'm the same way.
No, he doesn't even eat he doesn't even save it for later. He gives it to me. He's just like, here, you can have the rest of this.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you're trying to get a nice body, that's worth.
I can eat 3 times this.
You gotta learn to not eat. If you're trying to get a nice fucking body, if you're trying to get that Brad Pitt look,
small stomach.
Yeah, if you're trying to get that Brad Pitt look, it's you just gotta not eat and you gotta work out. You gotta have a habitual working out.
Like food is one of the very few pleasures that I actually maintain in life.
No, it's not even that good of a. When you swap food out for working out, food doesn't compare. I used to work out heavy.
Well, that's what my dad does. He works out every day, 7 days a week, like for at least the
working out is your food because your body, when your body's starving, it will eat muscle first. No, it eats fat first. And then it will eat your muscle. So when you work out, you're burning off that fat and you're also building up that muscle. So it finds that in between. I used to work out, and I'm telling you, I had a body. I remember one time my mom, because I still live with my parents, and I walk around my house with no shirt on. One time when I was working out, my mom looked at me, and I was taking my watch off, and she looked at me and she goes, "Wow, you look like Wolverine." And I was like, it was the biggest boost of confidence ever. And I don't work out anymore. But
because you got very little fat on you, and your muscles are showing through.
Your muscles are just fucking. And I'm a small guy.
That's my problem. Like I used to work out very heavy when I was in high school, and like I used to skip lunch and go to the weight room because I wasn't like my friends. I had more friends as seniors than I did in my own age group, so I would just go to the fucking weight room when I had lunch period, and not because I wasn't really friends with the kids that were in my age group. And I actually had a fucking 6-pack at that point because I was working out every day.
And it makes you feel good.
And like I still have it, but now that I'm older and I'm not taking very good care of myself, I still have that body under a small layer of fucking fat.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like
you can still see it. Like when I flex and stuff, I can still see it under my fucking fat.
Even if I were working out at the time, you'd still probably be stronger than me because you have mass. I had physique and I had stamina.
Yep.
But I don't have that mass where a larger person because I'm only.
It's easier to put on bulk when you actually have some fat.
It is. I only weigh 130 pounds. But when I was benching 200 pounds, it showed. My main goal was looking average because growing up I was always thin. I felt too skinny.
Yes, you never had you. I wouldn't even say you ever had fat on you.
No,
You've never really had
I've
any
never
fat
had
on you
fat
at all.
I've had fat on me one time, and that's because I got admitted to the hospital and I ate like a
And
motherfucker.
they chunked you up.
They chunked me up. I saw it on my face immediately. My face went from what it is now to I looked a little pudgier, and I was like,
you can see
ew.
your
I
cheeks
was like,
fall
ew.
out.
What is that? Am I fat?
This is what fat looks
Yeah.
like. Oh, I can see it now.
I don't want any part of this.
But I mean, struggling. I wouldn't say I struggle with fat, but like fat was something I could always put on and take off easily. Like it was something that just easily put on.
Which is not necessarily
depending on how
a bad
active.
thing.
Depending on how active I actually was, I could keep it off.
You can always turn fat into bulk.
Yes, and if you're actually doing the right workouts, it's easy to put on bulk.
Like if you started dieting correctly and started working out more, you'd probably put on bulk really quick, where it would take me years. Like I could work out for a year straight and I wouldn't bulk up, I would just get ripped. My body would just and you wouldn't even notice it until I flexed.
You would have to chug a lot of protein shakes and shit like that. And
the only time I did look bulky is right after I worked out, and I'd look
when
shredded,
your muscles were actually swollen,
straight fucking shredded. Like,
but yeah, I mean that's what I was dealing with, because when I actually was working out, like I actually did have the bulk to put on, and I actually had the fucking muscles, but. Then once you stop working out and like stop maintaining that lifestyle, then the fat kind of piles on. I mean, for me at least.
For you,
I wish I had your type of metabolism.
No, you don't, because I stopped working out and I just look skinny. I look like a fucking skeleton.
I wish I looked skinny all the time, but as soon as I stop being active, then I start getting chunky, and it's a terrible feeling.
I'd rather be chunky. Definitely.
No, you would not.
Definitely in New York. It's cold as shit in New York.
Okay, well. It's funny because my dad in the office, he's always fucking cold.
Exactly.
And like
I'm cold right now.
I'm walking around in a short sleeve shirt, and he's like, "You're a fucking Eskimo." He's like, "How are you walking around?"
Like, what
I'm like, "It's 60-something degrees in here. Like, how are you fucking cold?"
60 degrees is not. You need tropical weather.
60 is cold, but 60-something, like 60,
68,
65.
68
anything above 65
69 is still too cold for me. I need
69 is warm as
I need
fuck.
85 at the least.
Dude, my electric bill would be out the fucking roof if I kept my house at 85.
And that's what I'm dealing with. I used to deal with this all the time. It's freezing cold in this fucking apartment.
That's why, dude, I wear shorts and short sleeves in this house all the time, and like the average temperature is 65 degrees.
No,
in this
my legs. I was shivering at the beginning of this fucking podcast.
Because your blood wasn't flowing.
Okay, so anyways, off of the how cold this apartment is, let's get into crack, because that's my favorite drug. Okay. It's not my favorite drug.
We can
jump right into crack, because we're jumping into an hour. I wanted to cut this podcast down to an hour, but this is supposed to this episode.
I mean, we got a few minutes until an hour.
We're gonna go past an hour. This episode was supposed to be about drugs, alcohol, and partying, and we really only got into alcohol and partying. So let's start to nip it in the ass, and let's get into drugs.
I mean, if you want to start talking about the first couple times we've ever tried cocaine or anything like that.
Okay, yeah, let's ease in there. Cocaine. So cocaine's a fucking hell of a drug.
Perfect way to start that.
As James, what the fuck was his name?
James Brown.
Not James Brown. Who's the other one from Dave Chappelle?
James Brown.
No. It's Rick.
Rick James.
Rick James. I'm Rick James. Rick James says cocaine is a hell of a drug. Yes.
I don't know why I said James Brown.
No, because I said James.
James Brown probably did cocaine too.
James, dude, everybody probably did drugs in the 80s.
If you were a superstar at one point in your life in the fucking 90s or 2000s, and you definitely did cocaine.
All the actors probably were doing cocaine.
They probably still are. I guarantee if you're a fucking popular actor now, you're still doing cocaine.
Because you got money to keep on doing
exactly.
cocaine.
If you have the money to do it, then you will keep doing it.
I'm sure if we had the money, we'd still be doing cocaine.
Back when I was selling fucking drugs, I had the money to do it, and doing cocaine was a weekly activity that we would do.
Because I wasn't paying for it. You know who's paying for it? You and fucking Frankie.
One of us would blow you up every fucking weekend.
And I'd be
in the
so
hopes that you would
upset
say
about
that
it.
you'd pay us back at some point.
There's no hope in that.
We didn't
I'm
care
gonna
about
pay you
that.
back eventually.
We just wanted to have a good fucking weekend.
And it was always a good weekend.
We didn't care about the money. We just wanted to do it and have fun on the weekends.
But like we talked about last podcast, the come down is way worse than the high.
Oh yeah, I mean, eventually it gets to you because like I'm not at that point in my life where I can party all night and then wake up and then go to my job or
because we
do something in the morning.
But the job is more serious now.
I need an entire day to fucking wake up to take off the fucking cocaine come down.
Maybe we should test that next week.
Do you have any hookups for cocaine? Because I haven't been able to fucking find cocaine for years now. It's been years since I've actually done cocaine.
Let's find some cocaine.
Actually, I wouldn't say years, but it's been a very long time.
It's been a long, excruciating.
It's been almost a year.
Months.
Almost a year.
No, you're lying.
Like early last year was probably the last time I've ever fucking done it, and it's becoming early 2022 now, so it's almost a fucking year.
I'm trying to put that in perspective, and it sounds like
I stopped smoking weed in fucking April, man. It's almost been a year since I've actually smoked weed.
Jesus Christ.
But like, so I'll take one hit every now and then, but like from smoking every day, 3, 4, 5 times a day, it's almost been a year since I've actually done that.
God damn. Okay, so we'll find something to we'll find that eventually. But anyways, so getting into cocaine, how did you get into cocaine?
Probably having an older brother and having an older brother who had college friends.
See, for smoking weed, I remember my first time.
I wouldn't have been able to get cocaine on my own. So it was definitely my older brother who knew somebody.
I don't know where it came from. I don't remember my first time. I remember my first time smoking weed.
I literally probably couldn't tell you my first. No. I remember my first time smoking weed, but I could not tell you my first time doing cocaine. I could not tell you
my first time doing cocaine. I remember
there's been too many times, and it's just such a mind fasting. Like your mind is just going a mile a fucking minute. So it's just it's too much to remember.
Yeah, your first time doing cocaine is probably like so out of your mind. You can't remember it.
I can't remember it because I've been on that chase for fucking so long. Like as soon as you do it once, what they say is true. It's like you try it once and it's very addictive. I can see why people kind of throw their lives away for it.
Yeah.
But money was always more important to me.
It's a beautiful drug.
I never let it control my life.
I could imagine a lot of actors and a lot of musicians did it because it's a beautiful drug for getting that inspiration to keep moving.
Oh, dude, when you're on cocaine, you feel like you can do anything.
Yeah, but when you have an actual physical career or a physical job, it's not logical.
Even if I did have like a solid career of acting, I feel like I could do my job way better than I could if I was sober.
On cocaine,
If I was on cocaine doing almost anything, I feel like I could do it way better than I could sober.
We could probably do these podcasts amazingly if we had cocaine.
Oh my god, these people would hate us because we'd be talking so fucking fast, and these topics would just be flying by like fucking this.
And if we did have people that actually chimed in on our conversation, we'd probably sweep by their conversation so quick because they couldn't keep up with us,
dude. When you have a fucking like house full of like 40 or 50 people and you got like 20 people out on the fucking balcony having a million different conversations at once. Yeah. You're literally having 5 conversations.
You're chiming in on each and every single conversation.
You're literally listening to somebody over there. You're listening to somebody over there. You're listening to
somebody over there. Which is weird now that I think about it because I see myself in that situation. If you see yourself in that situation, think about everybody on the porch seeing themselves in that situation. So you want conversations to slow down and you want to focus on one person at a time.
Because your mind is moving at such a fast rate
that you're able to take.
You can focus at many conversations.
But my point is, you got 20 people on the porch who are wanting to like focus on one conversation, but they're holding 5 conversations, and they don't even realize that the other person wants that, so they're just carrying on this fucking gun spree of conversation. It's just it's like
yeah, but I mean, your mind
Rambo-esque
your mind is
conversation.
moving so fast that you're able to keep up with it.
Yeah, and you are, and you feel like you're gonna let somebody down, but you never do because nobody gives a fuck.
No, when you're moving that quick,
Yeah.
you don't let anybody
You're,
fucking
you're
down.
like, I should probably talk to this guy, but I'm gonna talk to this guy.
You brighten everybody's day.
Yeah,
when you're fucking not
everybody's.
getting- I'm not gonna lie.
Everybody's in a good mood.
I'm not here advocating for cocaine use, but
But
being
at
on
the same
cocaine
time,
is some of the most fun times you've
It
ever
is,
fucking had
it
in your
is.
life.
I mean, be ready for the come down.
You better be ready for the fucking come down
If
because
you're
if
not
you can't handle it,
inexperienced,
it's not like an alcohol hangover. It's probably 3 times worse than a fucking
Yeah.
alcohol hangover.
well, no, my alcohol hangovers were over.
You literally need alcohol to come down
Yeah,
from the
you
fucking
do.
cocaine come down.
You do, but my alcohol hangovers without anything else on top of it was always horrible because my bones hurt.
Yeah, that's the withdrawal feeling.
So
Like if you don't have like a stack of Xanax or a stack of alcohol to come down from cocaine,
yeah,
don't even fucking
yeah,
do it.
we touched that last episode, but yeah, I mean, it's a huge thing. Like cocaine is a huge fucking come down.
It's a big thing, and I see why it ruins people's lives. I understand it, but
Yeah.
you can't let it get the best
And
of
I
you.
only imagine that heroin's even worse than that. And amphetamines.
Never tried meth. I mean, the list of drugs that I've actually experimented with is probably longer than the list of drugs that I haven't experimented with. But meth is one of the ones that I
I
have
always
not.
wanted to do meth.
I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't try it, but it's not
You want to
something.
find some meth?
No, it's not something. I was just about to say it's not something that I'm going after. But
I had
if
a
somebody
chance.
if somebody brings it in front of me, I'm gonna be like,
Well, why not?
I might as well try it.
See what that's like.
See what the fuck it's like.
You're not gonna have fucking Vietnamese
Because
food
that's the
put in
thing,
front of you and
like,
be like, I'm not gonna try
You
it.
gotta have the mental stability to be able to be like, okay, I'm just gonna try this, and I'm not gonna
Yeah.
let it get the best of me.
Yeah, I think if I tried meth, it would be like a 50-time thing. Like I'd only do it 50 times, and then I'd be.
I wouldn't even give it that much. That's way too much to give it. I would try meth once just to see what it's like, and then I probably would never ever go
But
for it again.
The thing with
Unless
me
I
is
had a steady fucking connect for it,
that's true.
I'd
But
probably end up selling it. To be honest,
yeah, because like you said, you're
I'm a natural
responsible.
fucking salesman.
You're a responsible drug dealer. I'm an irresponsible drug doer. So the thing is with me, when I try new drugs, I tend to do it for a long time until it wears me out, and then I'm like, I don't think I want to do that.
That's called having an addictive personality.
Yeah,
So
I have that,
when
but
you
I'm
start
never
when you start
addicted.
trying something, then you really start getting heavy into it, and like I wouldn't say it controls your life, but
It might control my life. I might.
it controls your life for a small amount of time until it becomes a problem.
Yeah, if I were to do meth, I think I would be like, oh man, that was fucking awesome. I'm gonna do it next weekend, and then I do it next weekend, and then I do it next.
I mean,
weekend.
meth is probably something I feel like is probably that cheap.
Okay.
That you probably could do on a regular basis,
know.
and it really wouldn't be a big financial impact.
So I was listening to our podcast
but I don't know.
last episode.
I don't know.
And you got into, we were talking about crack, and I was telling you how I did crack for a few months. And you were like, what? Crack is I told you I did crack. I would make my paychecks and probably spend $300 on crack a weekend.
That is a
And you
lot.
were like, crack is an inexpensive drug. How did you do that? But when you're spending $300, like there's really no amount that you're set into. You're not like, okay, $50 of crack is going to get me high for it. When you have $300 and you throw $300 on crack,
I mean, if you
it's
have
just $300 on
if
crack.
you have it and you're willing to spend it, then it's really not anything. But
So you don't know how inexpensive these drugs really are.
but even when I was doing cocaine heavy, like if I spent more than $100 in one night, I would hate myself the next day. I would be like, that is just way too much
I
money to be
hated
spending
you
on all
because
that.
you were spending $300 a night on cocaine.
No, that was because you buy 3, you get 1 free.
Yeah, there's.
That's the
Buy
only reason I
3!
spent that much.
Buy 3, get 1 free. I'm in. Let's go. Yeah, and I hated you for that because you and
It wasn't
Frankie.
all my money either. It was half my money
No.
and half somebody,
No.
either Gianni's money or Frankie's money or
No.
somebody. It was never all my money.
I'm gonna disagree with
It
you on
was
this.
never all my money.
I'm gonna disagree with you on this because when we were at
I would
Frankie's
never
house,
spend $300.
you
on my
and
own.
Frankie were buying 3 and getting 1
Exactly.
free.
With
Both!
Frankie. I was with Frankie.
But you both were buying 300 and getting 1 free.
$600 at once. We never
You did.
spent that much.
I swear to God,
No
you
way.
did. You both were
I
getting
don't
an
agree
8
with
ball.
that. We're
You
gonna have to
both were
call up
getting 8
Frankie
balls.
and ask if we've ever spent that.
Where's
much
my phone? Because I'm going to prove this right now. I still got Frankie's number. I 100% know his number.
I guarantee it's probably still the same.
You want to call him?
No, I don't want
I'm
to call
calling
him.
him. Let's get him on the phone.
Don't call Frankie right now.
Let's get him on the next podcast because I feel like that's the perfect entity.
Frankie would be a good person to have on the
Frankie's the
podcast,
perfect
I'm not gonna
entity.
lie.
Can we?
Because he was there for a lot of the partying that we did. He wasn't a major factor in the partying that we did.
I got his number right now.
Dude, I can remember. I remember very few people's phone numbers I can remember, but Frankie's number, I know it.
It's ingrained in my. I didn't even look for his number. I typed it in, and then his number popped up. I typed his number in because it's just here. Same with yours, I think.
I couldn't remember it. There's very few people's phone numbers, like my mom's and my brother's and my dad's. Yeah, I can remember one of my dad's phone numbers, but Frankie's is like the only friend number that I can actually remember.
Frankie.
I don't know your cell phone number by heart.
No, because I have a new.
I have no idea.
I used to have a new phone number every year.
I don't know Darius's phone number, and I've been friends with him for fucking more than 2-3 years.
But now it's in that time and age where you don't type in people's. You save it and then you call it.
Yeah, no, that's because we've known Frankie before.
Yeah, and that's
before that time.
You want me to call him?
I guarantee that's still his fucking number.
I'm calling him.
No.
1 second, let's get him on the phone real quick.
Dude, you are nuts. We need to turn this fucking podcast on right now.
Okay, so this is one of our old friends, Frankie. I'm gonna call him real quick and see what he's doing.
You ask him one question and that's it.
He doesn't know my number, so he's probably not gonna pick up.
Probably not.
Frankie! Yeah. Is this still your number?
Yes.
Do you know who the fuck this is?
I do recognize the voice.
You recognize the voice? Me and...
It still comes up, actually.
That's funny as shit.
Dude, he sounds like me right now on a fucking recording.
Dude, so me and Phil we're getting into doing podcasts, and we were talking about getting you on to our next podcast.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're actually recording right now.
You're putting a lot on Frankie.
I'm putting it. This is just out of nowhere.
You're dumping a lot on him.
This is out of nowhere. Please show up. Please show up to our next podcast.
Show up.
Show up. Yes, you gotta make an appearance. It's a vodcast.
Right, no. We were just talking about some old fucking times, and your name came up, and Tony really wanted to call you. Just he wanted to ask you a fucking question about some of the shit that we did.
Yes, we're also both drunk on this vodcast, but show up to one of our vodcasts, please.
Don't put any pressure on him. Just ask him the question that you wanted to fucking ask him.
I can't ask you over the phone. We were talking about cocaine. So okay, I'll ask you the question.
All right, feel free to not have to answer. You really don't have to. I told him not to call you, but he really wanted to call you anyway.
My finger slipped.
I mean, Frankie, it's nice to hear your voice.
We were talking about how your number is one of the only numbers that we actually fucking.
Yeah, you're literally one of the very few phone numbers that I actually remember, and I can remember it by fucking heart.
So me and Phil actually don't get to chill that much anymore. So I came up with the bright idea. Why don't we start podcasting? So we want to start every Saturday. So why don't you incorporate yourself into this shit, man? At least once.
What are you guys up in Troy right now?
We are up in Troy. At the place. You know the place.
The place, yes.
What are you up to right now?
I'm actually at my mom's house right now.
Oh, okay. So I'm intruding right now. Can you answer this question right now? Just a real quick question, and then I'll let you go, and then we'll get back to you coming onto the podcast. So back in the day when we used to do, coke, was it you and Phil were both buying an 8-ball? Or were you splitting on an 8-ball?
Was there ever a time where you spent $300 and I spent $300 at the same time? Or did we ever? Was it usually just us going in on one at one time?
Especially if it was coming from, I think Uncle.
Yeah. Yep.
That guy. It's funny. I was actually just talking to my roommate, Andrew's girlfriend's brother, actually about that stuff before. I was like, you'll probably never see it again. But
yeah,
I was like, man, that was one of the very few times when it was fun.
That shit was very potent. But dude,
That was great.
we used to sit around, and I swear to God, you were buying an 8-ball and Phil was buying an 8-ball, and I was broke at the time, so you guys were both blowing me up. But Phil's
And
under.
the only thing I'm saying is we usually went in on one 8-ball, and we weren't usually buying separate 8-balls.
Phil's under the impression that both of you bought one 8-ball, but I swear to God, you guys.
Because I don't see myself spending that much money at one point.
Phil, what is Frankie saying? So what's your input, Frankie?
It is. I definitely say we always usually get to go in on one of those, but if there was ever a time,
See, exactly.
might have happened once. Might have happened.
Okay.
That we might have.
It was usually us going in on one and not usually getting two at one time. Because I very vaguely remember us going that much.
Like everybody sort of thing.
Dude, I felt like I was getting gangbanged.
Because usually one 8-ball is enough for a lot of people.
Yeah, between 5 of us usually.
Exactly.
Yeah, yes, there is a good amount of people there. Okay, but we'll let you get going. I will reach out to you again because we are going to get you on this podcast.
Yeah, man, we gotta chill soon. It's been a minute.
Where are you located now? Are you in Albany?
No, Schenectady.
Schenectady? Oh, so you're in my.
Yeah, you
I'm
live
in
in
Schenectady.
Tony's hood.
Yeah, I'm in Schenectady now.
Right next to what you call it? Okay, off of Route 7, right next to the Schenectady Municipal Golf Course right there.
Okay,
Wow,
I know
okay.
exactly where you are.
Nice.
Well, not exactly, but I know the area. I'm actually.
Kind of by like those. I don't know if you still work over at Gelano.
He doesn't. He does not. He's actually working with his father now. We've been talking about that on the
Yeah,
podcast.
work up in fucking Glens Falls now. So.
Yeah, so Phil's out of the way. I'm actually over in Schenectady. I'm off of Altamont Ave.
Oh, you're close.
Yeah.
Word. Get together, guys, man. Fucking let's do this.
Yeah, we're doing the podcast up at Phil's. So maybe one of these Saturdays we can reach out to you and actually get you up here in person.
Yeah.
Maybe Andrew too. That would be amazing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay. Well, since you're with your mother, we'll let you go. We know you can't talk too deep about conversations right now, so
That's easy.
it's super nice hearing your voice. So
Yeah, man.
Same here, guys.
Been a minute, dude. So let's get up sometime.
Yeah,
let's-
surprisingly, I don't have a job at the moment for that kind of business.
Oh.
Between some shit, so
Yeah.
my old job let me go. So,
Okay.
Yeah, shit's rough. I mean, same thing happened to me at my old job, but I mean, I'm working now. But
is it
same
COVID
thing
bullshit? Is it COVID bullshit?
No, my job was slow. We were building supercritical CO2 extraction machines for cannabis and hemp. And
What?
they were kind of slow. Yeah.
Nice.
You're growing? You were growing?
Well, we were building extraction machines.
What?
Where he's doing
Yeah.
equipment
Like-
for those
Yeah.
companies.
it was
Extracting like THC from.
No, he's doing fucking like
you take
chemicals
your product,
for
put it, critical CO2, you extract your
Whoa,
oils and your
like they would
trichomes
supply the
and your
CO2 that they
terpenes.
use to do that.
that's super cool.
Yeah, it was it's crazy.
Well, I really do hope for the.
Yeah, man, let's get up and talk about it
Yeah,
sometime. That's cool shit.
I hope
Yeah.
you get back on your feet. I mean, I know you always do because you're an outgoing person. But yeah, we're gonna keep in contact and get you up on here.
Word, no doubt.
Okay, man.
Hell yeah. You guys got the same number as well, I'm guessing.
Yes. Phil has.
Yeah, my phone number hasn't changed. So
Phil's phone number hasn't changed since fucking second grade. So.
Same here.
Yeah, you have a good rest of the night. We'll keep in
You too, guys.
contact.
all right, man.
Peace
Later,
out.
dude.
Peace out, man.
Peace.
Oh, I hung up on him a little too. That's super awesome.
I can't believe you called fucking Frankie.
Yeah, me neither. I'm drunk and my finger slipped. That's what I do though. Yeah. So that was nice. Hopefully we can
Yeah,
get Frankie on the next
That was a nice
podcast.
reconnection with one of our old friends. So hopefully you'll see that in the future. And we're probably gonna wrap this one up right here because I think we covered a lot of
we're at
exciting topics.
an hour and 18 minutes. We were going for an hour this time, so let's stop it at an hour and 20. Say some some things to close up. I personally did not. I didn't get to any topics that I really wanted to get to.
I think we covered enough.
We covered enough. Maybe we'll have to make it a specific subject of one of the
I
podcasts.
think we covered the topic that we wanted to cover.
I wanted to talk about hard drugs.
Well, that's a whole nother episode that we
That's
can
a
go
whole
for.
nother episode. It'll be maybe hard drugs just in general.
It could be. I mean, like I said, I mean, it doesn't just stop at what we talked about at this point.
It doesn't.
So
We could, we
can
could
go
pick it up
for a
on
whole
another.
nother fucking episode
Yeah.
on stuff just like this.
We're definitely not going to go 2 hours this time because we've been told that 2 hours is too long, and I understand that now that I look back on it because people don't really have that much time in their day when they're growing up. Maybe the younger audience does, and they wouldn't mind 2 hour podcast, but we'll have to fit it into separate.
No, we'll just be able to provide more episodes. That
Yeah.
way you can keep getting your fix.
Yeah, keep getting your little SquishMitten and Millen fix if you have one because I do. I listen to our podcast and I love
Yeah,
it.
and we appreciate anybody who is listening. So
I've gotten good feedback so far from the people who have listened to it. Go on, keep following us on YouTube, please, and thank you. We'll try to keep the topics interesting, and we definitely want to we want to engage anybody that's out there. So
yeah, so we appreciate you listening, and we're gonna wrap it up here. So thank you from both of us.
thank you for listening from Squish and Fret.
And we'll see you next time.
Have a good night.